Hey guys, Crow Cooper here with On the Black, and I'm joined for our weekly chat by Dave Doyle of Mets Report, who finally has some power back in his house. Glad to have you back, Dave.
Oh, thanks. I'm thrilled to have power. Believe me, it's fantastic, and I'm glad to be back doing a video this week.
Yeah, cool. So, first topic I want to chat about. Actually didn't get to read the entire article or the write up, but I saw some tweets about it's might be possible that Santana might make a start this year for the Mets. And when I saw that, I tweeted myself and said, I see no positive in Santana pitching for the Mets this year. Instead, the goal should be to get ready for opening day 2012. And really kind of wanted to get your reaction to that and your feedback on that.
Yeah, I think and I agree with that. I'll say that, but I think that the issue is that the minor league seasons all end much earlier than the major league season. So at some point within the next probably week or so, there's going to be nowhere for Santana to pitch anymore other than with the Mets because everybody else's season is going to be finished. So I think that the goal is to get him back for opening day 2012, but for his rehab, he's got to keep going at this point. And if he's not pitching with the Mets, there's going to be nowhere else for him to go other than staying in St. Lucie and throwing in the bullpen, which is very different.
Right. And you know what? That's an interesting point, and I actually didn't think about that. That the minor league season is ending soon, and obviously, yeah, I want to see Santana continue to rehab and build towards next year. So, if that means him coming to the Mets and maybe throwing 2 innings, then that's fine. But I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is I don't want to see him out there on September 27th going 7 innings against the Nationals. And I'm just making that up because I don't know who they play on the 27th, but you get my point.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I don't think that's going to happen. In just yesterday, when he was pitching, he had a 2 inning limit or 40 pitches, whichever came first. So I think that would continue to be the case, of course, building incrementally, but I don't think there's any way he would be even close to throwing 7 innings at any point this month. The Mets season is effectively over anyway. So
Right.
if he did start a game and pitch 2 innings for the Mets, it's no big deal. It doesn't matter whether they win or lose at this point, really.
Right. Switching topics now, another kind of off the field thing for the Mets, but will have an impact, I guess, on their immediate and long-term future, and that's the fact that the deal with Einhorn kind of fell through. And, I guess we'll see what the Mets do. I hear they're talking about maybe possibly selling off small pieces of the team and having, a bunch of investors instead of one big investor. But was this a surprise to you? What was your reaction when you heard that this fell through?
I was very surprised about that. And the good news is that maybe you and I could chip in for a $20 million share. But I was surprised to hear that because it seemed like it was a done deal. Einhorn was walking around Citi Field
Yeah.
and chatting it up with David Wright during batting practice on the field. So it certainly looked like it was a done deal. So from that perspective, I was surprised to see it fell apart. But from the perspective that the whole deal was built around Einhorn hoping that the Wilpons would fail financially, that was, to me, a strange partnership.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like he was trying to back them into a corner, which I thought that maybe he was doing a good job of doing and saying, "Hey, yeah, here's the cash. Let me know and I can take over the team." But I guess the Wilpons, I mean, they seem like that they are gonna exhaust every possibility and really don't want to lose control of this team. And I guess you can't blame them for that, but they're gonna stick this thing out.
They're going to go down with the ship.
Well, I don't want to see the ship go down. Let's be clear on that.
Yeah, they are, I think they had a court ruling that was potentially going to be favorable to them with the Madoff case, in a separate case that could have an impact on them, so that they were thinking that the landscape had changed slightly, so that they weren't as desperate as they were to take Einhorn's deal. That was a very difficult one for them to maintain ownership, controlling ownership. So we'll see how this plays out, but they could be shooting themselves in the foot by not taking the money from Einhorn too.
Yeah, and I guess we'll find out right away in a few months with how this team potentially goes after Jose Reyes and what they do this offseason. And, I think the payroll is somewhere around 140, 150 million right now. And I guess we'll see how far that drops, and that'll probably give us a better indication of the financial position of the team.
Yeah, and Sandy Alderson, who had originally said that was too drastic and wasn't going to happen, spoke to reporters in Buffalo this week and seemed to imply that the Mets. He was saying the Mets could win with $100 to $110 million payroll. So maybe that is something that they're thinking of. And actually, Joel Sherman wrote an article today, I think, for the Post, that he talked about how the Mets are considering taking the payroll way down into that $100 million range, and just calling next season a rebuilding year, and not even trying to make fans believe that they're attempting to win next year. Just throwing in the towel on the season and making it a rebuilding season.
If they do that, that's going to be very tough for them to do in New York. I mean, the reality of the situation is I don't think many of us thought that this year was going to be a playoff team anyway, but the fact that the Mets never came out this year and said this was a rebuilding year, still kind of gave us some hope. If they come out next year and just kind of completely tank it, if you will, it's going to be tough to take in New York.
It is, and boy, you see so many empty seats at Citi Field now. If they just come outright it before the season even starts and say, "Hey, we don't expect to win. It's a rebuilding season," boy, that number of empty seats would be astronomical there. I'm sure it would be beyond belief.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess we'll see over the next few months what happens. But hey, Dave, I want to thank you again for joining me for our weekly chat. For those of you watching, be sure to check out Dave and I on Ustream every Tuesday at 7 p.m. as we do a live Ustream chat during the Mets game. Thanks, Dave. Talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right.